This could change everything for the Florida Panthers. We just found out from the player himself how much of the regular season he could miss if he elects to have surgery, but a decision has not yet been made. And Aaron Ekblad had some choice words about the Panthers possibly three-peating. Coming up now. Guys, thank you for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. You guys need to stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. So, you guys have already probably read about it or heard about it. Matthew Tkachuk has finally come out and said what is happening, what is the time frame that he could possibly miss if he elects to have surgery, and, well, what's going to happen if he doesn't? Well, the obvious answer to this is he's going to hit the ice. He was even quoted saying that he plans on doing so if he elects to not have surgery. So, the biggest thing right now that the Panthers need to focus on is, well, when is he going to actually have surgery if he decides to do it? Because I know everybody's been going back and forth with, oh, long-term injury reserve. They're going to wait till the last minute, and people are thinking that's cheating and this and that. Yeah, it's not cheating, okay? Get over it. It's not. There's no rule that says you cannot wait literally until day one of the season and say he's going to have surgery on day one. It doesn't matter. They're within their rights to do it, as every other team in the NHL is within their rights to have a player go ahead with surgery, or they're going to wait to do it and be cautious and try to find the right surgeon. Whatever the hell it is, it doesn't matter, guys. They're within the rules. So that is pretty much what we're waiting on. So while we're looking at things, and there is Matthew Tkachuk holding up those deuces saying that we won it twice, but his numbers, okay? So if we look at his season last year, and if you want to say, okay, he is saying he's going to miss 2 to 3 months. That's where we're at right now. If I do get the surgery, it'll definitely be the first 2 or maybe 3 months, if that's the case. But he has not decided on what he wants to do. So I was bringing up the stats because let's just take a look at, is it really going to be an issue for the Panthers with the roster that they have, the depth that they have, the leadership, the experience that they have on this team? I think he's going to be missed. I mean, he still contributed in 52 games. He still put up 57 points. He's put in more than a point a game in the regular season last year. If he was staying in and played all 82 games or close to it, let's say between 77 to 82 games last season, I would say that 57 points probably would have been somewhere in probably the mid 80s or probably somewhere in the 90s. I mean, the numbers just kind of speak that way. Okay, his last year as a Calgary Flame, 104 points, came here, was another 100-point year in his first year as a Panther. The following year, 88 points. Then last year, obviously, the 67-point total. 57-point total, excuse me. So he will be missed, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. But there's other guys that are going to step up, like Mackie Samoskevich. That could be another great opportunity for him to be able to play on that second line. Because that's essentially what's going to happen. It'll be Rodriguez, Bennett, Samoskevich. They're not gonna break up line number 3 with Lundell, Marchand, and Lustranen. There's no way. Line number 1's not going anywhere, and I think that fourth line is just gonna be what it is. Mackie Samoskevich put up decent numbers. I think it was 15 and 16 last year. Good numbers. Good guy to take his place for the meantime. I think he'll have another big year, really similar to Evan Rodriguez. I've already had that discussion in one of my past episodes. So I'm not gonna say that the Panthers are in trouble big time for the beginning part of this season. Because for them, Matthew Tkachuk has even said, and some other guys in the team have said, they don't have their eyes on the Stanley Cup from day one. It's every series, they take it pretty much series by series. So with Matthew Tkachuk out, yeah, he's going to be missed. His numbers, especially, in the playoffs last year, they were still phenomenal, playing on one leg. But in the regular season, it matters, yes. But if he can pretty much play pain-free and go back to the player that he was before the injury, that's what we're looking for. But who knows? I mean, he played through this injury in the playoffs. Maybe he'll say, you know what? I don't want to risk having surgery because I don't want to have to deal with the possibility of something happening and I'm not healing right. There's always that risk. I've had 3 shoulder surgeries because my first one healed well. I injured it again, had surgery again, and it did not heal right. And I've had problems with my shoulder ever since, guys. So you can't just say, yeah, oh, go ahead and have surgery and you're going to be fine. That's not how this works. Okay, it's a risky procedure nonetheless. If it's arthroscopically done, it doesn't matter. If they're cutting you open, it doesn't matter. You're still going on the table and going under the knife, excuse me. So it's a scary situation, but I think if he does have surgery, I think he'll be back sooner than that 2 to 3 month span. But I'm not a doctor. I can't go in that direction. So that is something that we need to actually think about moving forward is who's going to take his place, probably Mackie Samoskevich. How much of a gap or a hole is there going to be in this roster that needs to be filled when he's gone? It's more to me, not the actual physical presence on the ice as much as it is the mental presence there and that game within the game that he brings and is such a monumental part of how this team is able to take over, essentially. Even when they're losing in a game, they somehow find a way to always come back in a lot of the games last season, especially in the playoffs too. So that's going to be the biggest thing. It's that mental presence, that game within the game that they're going to really be missing from him. So moving forward, Aaron Ekblad had some choice words on Good Morning America. And they were good. I mean, I liked it. He was there with Carter Verhaeghe, and they had a great conversation. And the very last thing that they were asked was, that, hey, how do you guys feel, about winning that 3rd Stanley Cup? Do you guys think you're going to be able to do 3 in a row? And Carter Verhaeghe, his first response he was like, hey, I'm not, I don't want to jinx it or anything. But they said, we don't believe in jinxes. We aren't that kind of team. We talked about it last year before, winning the cup anyways and all that. So they're going to just keep sticking to doing what they're doing. That's exactly what they're going to do because that roster right there is so deep, so experienced. They have they've been through the ringer, guys. I'm going to put it that way because 314 games in 3 years is a lot of hockey. They've been through the ringer. They've traveled tens of thousands of miles, if more probably. Who knows in those 3 years, guys? They've traveled so much. They are journeymen. They've been tested in so many different ways. Game 7s in the playoffs. Physical play. Being down in a series. They've gone through everything. There is nothing that says they are not going to be able to do it. Yes, it's the hardest thing to do, I would say, in any sport is to probably win 3 in a row in a sport would be hockey. 314 games is a lot of hockey, but Aaron Ekblad came out and said, and this is something that I loved, he was like, some people say that because we don't get a lot of time off, we're going to be more fatigued and, we're not going to come with the energy and we're going to struggle, all of that. He thinks the opposite. This team thinks the opposite. They think that, hey, you know what? Because we've been playing till June every season, we have a very short off season, which means we're going to stay in better shape. Some of these other guys come in and don't feel like they have the endurance that they have, the stamina, the strength, and they have to get back into shape, and it takes a little while. The practices, they hate them because they've got that fatigue factor of just, they kind of just took it easy over the summer. Well, the Panthers aren't doing that. These guys, yeah, they partied and all that, but they don't have a lot of time off, so they just keep doing what they're doing. I mean, that picture that I showed you of them right here, they actually just did a skate around. A free skate, if you will. So they're actually still getting work in, which is awesome to see. So these are the odds right now. They are plus 600 according to ESPN. So everybody's picking the Panthers right now. I'm not going to crown it as of yet because, again, the 2 biggest things that I see could be the issue, and there are 2 things. Number 1, injuries. Obviously, that's any team in the NHL. Injuries. If you start having those things pile up on your team, you're not going to be winning a lot of hockey games. If you have to keep going down and getting your guys from the AHL and stuff like that and bringing guys up, you're not going to be winning a lot of games. But who knows? You never know when the chemistry could be right. A player could take off. You never know. But still, that's one thing. But I think this team is capable of fighting through the adversity, next man up mentality. I mean, they kind of showed it last year in that last 3 to 4 week span. The other thing, too, is kind of father time if you think about it. And I would say just time itself, because salary cap era is very different than like the 1980s when you had the New York Islanders, when they had two different eras of winning 3 consecutive Stanley Cups. Different in the salary cap era, when you're more strapped in terms of being able to bring in players. And I know it's different because they weren't paid as much in the 80s and the 70s as they are today, but still the salary cap kind of puts a little bit of handcuffs on you as an organization to find the right players to fit in and make everything work. They do have longevity with the contracts and all that, but 8 out of those 10 contracts that guys have signed for 5 or more years, the guys are 29 right now and they're going to be 30 this year, or they're older than that. I mean, we all know how old Brad Marchand is at 37 years old. So, and Seth Jones is 30. So all of these guys, father time does catch up to everybody. And as time does, you become a little more injury prone. So that is something to think about, unfortunately, for this Cats team. But I wanted to show you guys this real quick. This is Aaron Ekblad, his quote. He said that the way things are going right now in terms of having the shorter offseason and everything, he says it's way better because you never get out of shape. This is what I was talking about. You have to start working out again within a week or two of the season ending. And if you want to build any muscle, you need that amount of time. Right now, I feel great. I feel like I could start the season tomorrow. If you have 4-5 months off and start your off season right away, you hit a plateau early and begin to hate the training. We never end up hating it because there is not enough time for us to do that. Awesome. The mentality, I love it. I think this team is going to be ready to go day one. I'm excited to actually see some of the new additions that they brought in. I know some of the guys are older, but I'm excited to see Mackie Samoskevich get back on the ice and how he meshes in with the second line. If he does get up there, I think he'll be in that third, but who knows if he will be thrown into the mix right away, because right now, I don't know. They could have a fourth line, that could have him on there, maybe not, but not my decision to make. That is for Paul Maurice to make. And we still have other moves that could be made if Matthew Tkachuk does go on LTIR. We still have that to talk about in the future if he does have surgery. The good news, though, is Evan Rodrigues will stay a Florida Panther if he does go on long-term injury reserve. So blessing in disguise in a way. And if they make it to the point of going past the trade deadline, that might make things a little more difficult if Matthew Tkachuk does return. But who knows? You never know what Bill Zito could possibly pull before that happens to keep Evan Rodrigues here. Maybe gets rid of another guy or two to get us safe into that cap space. But unfortunately, he might be that guy that might have to go. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to speculate on that anymore. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Again, I appreciate all of your support. I know it's been a little bit since I posted a video. This one's just quick, easy. And there should be some more breaking news coming any day now. I can kind of feel it. I think Matthew Tkachuk's going to end up making some sort of a decision sometime around probably the next couple of weeks, I would think, because they need to know heading into the preseason what they're going to have to do with their roster and what are they going to have to do with the salary cap. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next episode. It'll be coming in the next day or two. And if you guys want to become part of Digest Media, if you want to create, if you want to write, if you guys just are so adamant about sports, hockey, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, whatever it is, the company that I work for, Digest Media, they are hiring. They're looking for people that are gung-ho about sports. Specific ones or all around, it doesn't matter. They are looking for new people to come in and be writers. You can see right down there, right there. That's where you need to go. Apply today, guys. Send in demo reels, things like that, because they are looking for new people to head channels from the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, NHL, WWE, MMA. They're looking for some new faces to come into this organization. So, guys, go on there, apply. Maybe we'll be working together. We'll see. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time, and go Cats.